Welcome in to the Browns Report. We are live because the Cleveland Browns have a brand new head coach. I promised you guys when there is breaking news, I am on here to talk about it with you, and I want to talk about it with all of you guys in the comment section. So let's start this thing off with just one-word reaction in this live chat. What is your one-word reaction to the Todd Monken hire to be the Cleveland Browns' next head coach? I don't think it's that bad. Honestly, I think it's a fine scenario for Cleveland. He's offensive-minded. Harry says, about time. Cameron says, why? Ian said, thank God it's not Jim Schwartz. That's kind of how I was feeling. And I know a lot of Browns fans actually wanted Jim Schwartz to be the head coach. I don't understand why that would be the case. You know, that is, it doesn't really work in NFL history, promoting coordinators to the head coach position. The ideal scenario for the Browns here is that they can keep Schwartz to pair with Monken. That's where the Cleveland Browns stand. But get your one word in the chat. Lucas says they should have kept Stefanski. I don't think so. I think Monken is an offensive upgrade, believe it or not, from Kevin Stefanski, as we saw last year. Time Man with the A. Matty Wag says, yay, awesome. Harry says, who are we going to bring in for OC? That certainly is going to be the next biggest priority for the Cleveland Browns but I do like that we're going to have two offensive-minded guys at the top now. Andrew Barry said in his press conference the number one focus for them this offseason is to revamp the offense. And promoting Jim Schwartz would not have matched up with that sentiment. So tell me, are you excited about this hire? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Ian says A means we can move the ball. Exactly. Maybe we actually can move the ball this year. I don't think people put into perspective how bad the Browns offense has been the past 2 years and how bad the O-line was last year. Points per game, the Browns were second to last. The year before, they were dead last. I'm not saying this is going to work and we've got our guy for the next decade. I mean, great. It would be great if that's the case. But I think this is worth the try right now because you also have to factor in, Myles Garrett requested a trade because he felt the organization was not committed to winning. And they had to promise Myles that they are committed to winning. Promoting Jim Schwartz is not a winning move. It's trying a guy who has a lot of experience, who's coached successful offenses, who John Harbaugh loves. I'm fine with the swing. Maybe Browns are a middle-of-the-pack team next year, but I believe it will be improved significantly under Todd Monken. So, what we got? Time Man says, yes, he's excited. Lucas not excited about it. Agwir is saying, ugh. Fran gives it a Y for yes. Lucas said, of the offensive coaches to choose from, he's probably the best option. DC, that's kind of where I'm landing on it, Lucas. Out of the Browns' pool of candidates, there was not a whole lot to choose from. Monken, probably the best offensive option of the bunch. Now, remember, the 1 year he was with Cleveland, I hesitate to bring this up, but he did work with the Freddie Kitchens Browns team. But the Browns messed that up. They promoted Freddie Kitchens. So, Monken's had a lot of experience since then, and now he's been in a successful organization, an organization with winning culture, with John Harbaugh, and I think that could benefit the Browns a lot now, the experience that he has under his belt as an offensive-minded coach. Alex says yes. Maddie says yes. Cool guy. Giving it a Y for yes. Cameron said, do you think if John Harbaugh never got fired, the Ravens would have fired their coordinator to bring in Schwartz, their defensive coordinator? Impossible, because the Browns have Schwartz under contract. They would definitely not let the Ravens interview him to be DC, but they did let him interview Schwartz to be head coach. Time Man knows that Joey called it. Monken was sneaking under the radar, and I was kind of like, when Udinski pulled out of the race, here we go, 2 days ago, early in the morning, I go, you know what? I think it's Todd Monken's season in Cleveland. And here we are, a few days later. Todd Monken officially is the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. They're 23rd in the franchise history. Mr. Swims, Y for yes. Zach giving it a Y for yes. YK says this is terrible. I have a feeling Browns fans are going to be split on this hire. Absolutely. I don't think they could have made a decision that wouldn't have been split. If you had hired Nate Scheelhaase, a lot of us would have been excited about a young offensive up-and-coming coach. But a lot of people would have said, why are we hiring a guy that's never called plays before, that's never even been an offensive coordinator? What makes you think he can make the jump? So when you broke down all the options, and we know this, the Browns are very analytical. They were administering personality tests and questionnaires to all of their candidates, interviewing candidates for more than 7 hours at times. When they sat down in a room and they talked the whole thing through and you weighed all the options, this is best case scenario of their candidates. An offensive-minded coach. That's what we wanted. That's what we got. A guy who has experience in the league but is a first-time head coach. That is Todd Monken. And someone who will likely want to keep Jim Schwartz. That is both Monken and Scheelhaase. And Monken reportedly is in on this idea, but kind of depends on Jim Schwartz. If he says, really, I'm going to leave then if you don't think I'm good enough to be your head coach, or he says, okay, I'll run it back with the Browns and see what we do. If you want the Browns to make the playoffs, though, like the video right now. And do we have that social I sent you as well, Jack, yet? The Fowler one? Cool. And then we'll have you hop on and chop it up with the peeps if you want. Oh, okay. So, yeah, folks, keep telling me what you think about the Monken hire. We're going to break this down even more for you guys. Let's also give a quick shout-out here to today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I love this app. It's a lot of fun. I win money, and I can't watch my favorite team anymore for a while. You guys know I'm a Cleveland fan. So I need a way to stay entertained during these games, have something to root for. Prize Picks helps me do that. Missing your fantasy team? My league is already over, but with Prize Picks, I don't have to wait until next year's draft to keep playing fantasy. Prize Picks lets you play fantasy football every week, even in the playoffs. Pick your favorite players and win when they hit their projections every week. No draft required. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app. I've got a 2-pick power play featuring Drake May, more than half a passing touchdown, and Kenneth Walker, more than half a touchdown. Could be rushing or receiving. You can make lineups just like this one if you download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Alrighty, so Jeremy Fowler tells us that the Browns notified Nate Scheelhaase this morning that they were going in a different direction. You know, the classic phone call. Sorry, we're moving forward with someone else. He plans to stay with the Rams and be a factor next cycle, which makes sense, especially if Mike LaFleur, the Rams OC, gets a job with the Cardinals. Perhaps Scheelhaase can get a promotion and be the OC over there. We will see what happens with Jim Schwartz. But one team source told me Todd Monken and Schwartz had similarities as coaches and could work very well together. I think that's ideal for the Cleveland Browns. Pair Monken and Schwartz, two experienced guys, very well-versed in different sides of the ball. Jim Schwartz, a defensive-minded expert. Todd Monken, all offense, and all offensive-minded. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. And if Monken's terrible after the next year or two, well, we'll be right back in the same scenario. But out of this pool, I think it's worth it. And remember, Adam Schefter's telling us that Schwartz is still under contract. The team wants him to stay. They're going to do everything they can to help Schwartz stay. That was how they went into the coaching search, was telling everybody, can you keep Jim Schwartz, please? That's the state of things. Monken expected to do that. Now, we're also going to film a Q&A with the people here. So, super chat to get this party going and get on the show. Voice your opinion. If you want your opinion out in our YouTube video, then super chat and we'll make you a part of the show. Also, use the hashtag Browns in this live chat and put a question or take next to it, and we will filter through. Producer Jack will find the best questions to ask, but super chat, skip the line, and we'll put you in the video and shout you out. Jay Sanders says, Monken is a solid hire. Mr. Swims wants to keep Schwartz. Absolutely. We got to try and keep Schwartz now. That would mess up the hire if we lose Schwartz. But the way I'm picturing it is Monken and Schwartz, and we get a new offensive coordinator that hopefully is a younger offensive mind. Now we're talking some life on offense next year, and the Browns would be dangerous. That's been my point all season as well. The Browns' defense is so good that if we had any life on offense last year, we would have been contending, especially we would have been contending in the AFC North this year. That's why I like going just all offense to revamp this thing and keep Schwartz, keep the defense how it is. It's the fact of the matter. I'm trying to tell you guys, Monken had a phenomenal offense just 2 years ago, a year ago here. Number 1 red zone offense in Baltimore. Where has Cleveland struggled? The red zone. Number 1 total offense. Number 1 rush offense. 3rd scoring offense. I mean, Monken has worked in a bunch of different systems. In Tampa Bay, very pass heavy. In Baltimore, very run heavy. He is an experienced guy. He was the offensive coordinator at Georgia, and they won back-to-back national championships with Todd Monken there. I don't mind the hire at all. I think it is underrated, like Jay Sanders is saying. What do you think, Producer Jack? Let's bring in Mr. Jack. You guys may or may not remember on the 1s and 2s today. How we feeling?
I like the hire.
There we go.
I like the hire quite a bit. We talked about this a little bit beforehand. It really does hinge on whether or not. I want to make sure everyone can hear me.
Yeah. You guys hear Jack?
It really does hinge on whether or not you keep Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
Because I'm very high on Monken as an offensive mind, which is what you need.
Yeah.
Because the defense is really good, the offense has struggled. So you need that. But if you lose Jim Schwartz, you might be in a little bit of trouble. So that's kind of the biggest thing here that I'm really looking at is how over the next few days this is going to, how this is all going to play out.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what the Browns did, though. Their plan, their whole thing going into this was we want to keep Jim Schwartz. But they didn't want to promote him, evidently. So they did everything they could by telling candidates, could you please keep Jim Schwartz? By giving Jim Schwartz head coach interviews. It would have been disrespectful if Jim Schwartz did not get any head coach interviews with the Browns. They gave Tommy Rees one, for crying out loud. So this was sort of their plan all along, was tell candidates, hey, you got to keep Schwartz. And, that might have deterred some candidates. A guy like Mike McDaniel might be saying, well, I'm a head coach. I've been a head coach. I get to pick my staff. And so ultimately, Cleveland always had to go with the candidate that wasn't being looked at as much, that wants a head coach opportunity, like a Todd Monken, who hasn't been a head coach before, like the younger guys like Udinski and Scheelhaase, who would want this sort of jump. Evidently, Udinski didn't want it, but Scheelhaase was in this thing to the very end. And so they figured best case scenario was offensive-minded coach with experience that will keep Jim Schwartz if he's open to it. And let's try this thing out next year with two guys that excel in different sides of the ball. I honestly think it's not that bad for Cleveland. Get your grades in the chat for me, though. Grade this higher, A, B, C, D, or F.
Make sure you guys are still getting questions in, too. We are going to do a Q&A. We're also going to answer questions just within the live. So send in your super chats if you want to party and have a good time. We got our coach. We should be celebrating. Yes. I actually like the hire quite a bit. So send in some super chats if you want to ask questions or use hashtag Browns. We're going to bring up some questions throughout the live as well. We're going to hang out. We're going to do it. We already did our reaction cut. That's up on the channel. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out after the live. And, we're just going to hang out. We're going to give some analysis, and we're going to answer your guys' questions. So just hashtag Browns or hit those super chats, and we're going to get going. But grade the hire, A, B, C, D, or F. Let's go.
Let's do it, people. Let's do it. Get those grades flowing in the chat. Browns NY said Monken the GOAT. Gives it an A. Couple A's flying in as well. Wolf gives it a B. Cameron gives it a B. I think that's fair to give it like a B, B+, honestly. You got to consider where the Browns were at and where their situation was. They didn't get John Harbaugh or what their top candidate might have been. Joshua Miller with the $2 super chat. Shout out Joshua Miller, who are the top options for OC now. That is what everyone is wondering next. I've got some names for you. And I will be making a full video on this, Joshua Miller. But we'll give you guys who the real ones in the live get the sneak peek. So I'll give you some top candidates off the bat. Shout out Joshua Miller for the $2 super chat. Top options for OC now. Well, I don't think this is likely, but one option is going to be Nate Scheelhaase. Can the Browns get all three of the guys that they considered here to be OC? But I think it's more likely Scheelhaase returns to the Rams here. Unless he wants an OC jump that he wouldn't get in LA. Anthony Lynn, who the Browns also interviewed and was the Browns running back coach way back when, as the Commanders' RB coach. Anthony Lynn has been a head coach. He's a candidate for Monken to bring on at OC. Udinski's going to stay in Jacksonville, so that other guy that they wanted to interview, not going to be an option for the Browns. Someone who hasn't gotten a job yet, Cliff Kingsbury, is a free agent coordinator, if you will. And we know he specializes with offenses and in his OC roles. Look for Cliff Kingsbury to be a name that the Browns reach out to. And then it's guys that, they want to promote to take a step up, like perhaps Davis Webb would be in this mix. So someone who's gotten a lot of buzz in Denver as a smart offensive mind. There will be plenty of options. And if Monken can keep Schwartz and bring in a new young OC, I like the staff we're rolling in with next year. So shout out Joshua Miller for that $2 super chat and question. But how about you guys throw some names out there? Why not? Who would you hire as the Browns' next offensive coordinator? Who could Monken bring in here to help this ship? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Just a girl. I don't think Scheelhaase would come here to be OC. He'd probably just return to the Rams. And yeah, Fowler said that's the expectation in that tweet I showed you. So Wolf said, let's get someone that knows how to run an offense. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Mr. Swims doesn't know. CGC said, how about John Harbaugh? How about Monken brings Harbaugh instead of vice versa? Back out of the Giants deal. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Chase Sanders. I didn't marry my wife based on if other guys would marry her. I like her because I like her. It's an analogy there for picking your coach. Fair enough. Browns liked Monken. He's an offensive mind. That's what I said going into the search we needed. Offensive-minded. Now, it's not a young offensive mind, but John Harbaugh sees something in Monken. That's got to tell you something. Dustin Jordan, the $5 super chat. Shout out Dustin Jordan. Remember, guys, if you want to party, get your super chats in. We got a new coach in Cleveland, finally, after all this time. It was a matter of, you liked my tweet yesterday, Jack? It's a matter of when, not if. Big if true. That was hilarious. Dustin, let's talk about Carson and JOK together. Unstoppable. Also, they need to get Shiloh Sanders, who made a mistake and learned his lesson, who can help us. Shout out Dustin. Jordan, I love it. I love it. The linebacker duo would be phenomenal. If JOK comes back healthy, Schlesinger is the defensive rookie of the year. He's everywhere on the field for the Browns. Pursuit is phenomenal. Notice, whoever catches the ball, if it's a tight end, a running back in the flat, Schlesinger, beeline to the football. Absolutely deserving of the award. Shiloh, I know Shiloh wants to be in Cleveland. He said that to Shador on a live stream, believe it or not. I don't know if Shiloh has the ability to play safety at the NFL level, but I'm open to it. If Shador wants to get him the job, we do have a Pro Bowl quarterback who will perhaps have some say here if he is the starter going forward. But appreciate the $5 super chat from Dustin Jordan. You guys are excited about this. Smash that like button.
I'll make a deal.
Do it.
It's new hire. We're celebrating. We're having a good time. I'm going to get bold, and we'll see if we can hit this. There's only 174 people watching, so we'll see what's up. If we get to $100 total in super chats, so it doesn't need to be one person. It can be a total. So we're $93 away from hitting that mark. If we do that, I'll rip a beer bong at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
11 a.m. on a Wednesday. We got to get to $100 in super chats. So we'll see if you guys are up to the task. This is celebration stream. We got a coach.
Let's go.
So we'll see what happens. But that's my deal for you guys.
That's true. We got a party. We get to 100 in supers. It's beer bong time. Another note from Fowler on Todd Monken here. He's been a finalist for a lot of jobs in the past. He was considered second to Matt LaFleur in Green Bay a couple years back. So it was only a matter of time before he finally got a head coach job. Interviews have went very well and has a plan. AFX, the $2 super chat. Shout out to AFX. AFX. I bet AFX wants you to do another beer bong. Got producer Jack back there, just made a beer bong deal, AFX. Hate this team. Why, AFX? Tell me your reservations. I could see how, like, first instinct reaction would be, are you serious? An old Todd Monken guy? But when you dive into the hire and the Browns candidates, I don't think it's a bad decision. Right, like, it was either Monken, Schwartz, or Scheelhaase. AFX says, I hate this team. $2 super chat. Appreciate you for the 2 AFX, my guy. Tell me your reservations, though. What don't you like about the hire? That's my question. Amelia said beer bong and a Four Loko. Everybody give me your opinions on the hire. Do you like it? Yes or no? Y for yes, N for no in the live chat. What do you guys think? Mike Nintendo in the chat. He doesn't like it. The Steelers fans were pissed about McCarthy. That's right. They had a bad hire. Everybody's pissed about everybody. The Bills are pissed about Joe Brady. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody wanted John Harbaugh. Yeah, I mean, I get the point as well about firing Stefanski to, that's the thing that wouldn't have made sense, though. If you fired Stefanski just to promote Jim Schwartz at the end of the year, we would not be going in a different direction. Let's try something new. Plus, he knows the division. You poach someone from Baltimore who knows Lamar, who knows that division. Lamar's an MVP under Monken and Harbaugh. The Browns just tweeted it. Welcome back to Cleveland, coach. Shout out Todd Monken, our new head coach, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the hire, tell me about it in the comments section. I mean, yeah, I understand that argument. Like, I'm not saying, that's why I worded it carefully. I'm not saying Lamar was made into Lamar because of Monken and Harbaugh. But he was the last pick in the first round. And it could bring the most out of Sanders. Absolutely. Something about Shedeur this season, his Sanders' ability, his mobility, I think, was a very underrated aspect of his game in the draft. Like, a lot of people didn't think Shedeur was as mobile as he was, but how many times did we see Shedeur Sanders evade pressure, break out of sacks, break tackles, and use his legs to get first downs? So I think Monken is someone that could help bring the most out of a quarterback like Shedeur. And he does just feel like a Cleveland Browns hire, a guy that, loves to use the run game. It does feel very Cleveland Browns, older offensive candidate. If it doesn't work, we'll be moving on in 1 to 2 years. I am curious the length of the deal now that I think about it. Most coaches have been getting 5-year deals. Let's see how long they give Monken. Tim Green with the $10 super chat. Shout out Tim Green. Says he likes the pick. Oh, that's another great point by Tim Green, actually. Because one of the hottest names on the free agent market is Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens center. We got some ties here now. You know the Browns are going to go out and get offensive linemen. That is their number one priority here. Guys, I think we could be fast-tracking the rebuild here because of how good the defense is. Tim Green with the 10. I like the pick. Now, if we can cherry pick a few free agent Ravens like Linderbaum or Zay Flowers, your thoughts? That's a great point, Tim, because Linderbaum is being viewed as the number one offensive lineman free agent this year, at least at the center position. And it didn't seem like the Browns would be in the running for that. But now, Monken's got some connections. That's the other good thing about an experienced guy, right? Who is Nate Scheelhaase going to bring as OC if he was our head coach? Doesn't have many ties right now. He's a pass game coordinator. Monken's been in many different systems, college systems, the Browns system, the Buccaneers offense, and the Baltimore Ravens. So there will be names that Monken can bring in. And obviously, John Harbaugh loved them. Harbaugh wanted to bring Monken, but he's the head coach now, folks. Should tell you something. Got a statement from Jimmy from the Haslams. Oyafusi tweeted the picture, but it's on the Browns website, I'd imagine. All right, let's see. Commitment to player development was evidence. Tough, straightforward coaching, respected by the players. I will say, I do think we need a guy, it's not just a narrative. You need a leader of men. Someone in the locker room that the players are going to respect and look up to. And, a guy like Udinski's younger than some of our players. I think this is a fair decision by the Cleveland Browns here to go in the Todd Monken direction. Zen says maybe Monken can work some magic, some offensive magic. He's an offensive-minded candidate. That's what we wanted. Brian Davis, 10 years fully guaranteed, gone in 2. I mean, fair enough. I could see that happening as well. This is the Cleveland Browns we're talking about here. But it at least tells me they're not settling, and they're trying to do the best. They're trying to make a winning decision. This was in their data analytics system, this was the one that gave them the highest probability to win next year. Was hire Todd Monken over Scheelhaase and Schwartz. I'm with it. Let's try it, folks. Let's try it out. I'm excited for next year already. I want to see how this thing unfolds, see who they bring in as OC. And again, I love it because we keep Schwartz as DC. If that changes, I might reevaluate here and see who Monken would bring as DC. But I think that they're open to working together, as Fowler reported, and that Monken is down to keep Schwartz, which I like a lot. I like it a lot. And, if by the time if they don't like Monken, well, we'll have a new coach by the time the new Jimmy Haslam Stadium is built in 2029. And a new quarterback if Shador's not the guy as well. But that's right. You tell them, CGC, that is Pro Bowl QB Shador Sanders to you guys. Okay? What's wrong with the Browns system? We have a top 5 defense, 2 first-round picks. One of the first-round picks is a top 6 pick. You have the best player in the entire league. You have a Pro Bowl quarterback. You have young talent. Schlesinger, Fannin, Judkins, Shador, Bond. Why is everyone saying it's so bad? It's ownership. That's been the issue. And I think Barry and Haslam worked together a lot here. Andrew Berrios made a statement as well. Says Monken is a direct, demanding, detail-oriented leadership style that will create a great incubator for a young team. Incubator, that's an interesting word from Andrew Berry. Oh, the Packers are going to hire former Bills defensive coordinator Babbage. Okay, wait, what? Is this real from Tom Pelissero? Uh-oh. Jim Schwartz, visibly upset, said goodbyes in the building, told other coaches he's not coming back. Schwartz is under contract, and Cleveland wants to retain him, but his future is now unclear. Tom Pelissero. Oh, boy. Well, that would put a damper on things, I would say. Are they going to force Jim Schwartz to stay? Okay. Fowler says, no guarantee Schwartz is back as Browns defensive coordinator. Decision not to go with Schwartz could cause a ripple effect with the defensive side. Oh, God. But he's under contract, and Todd Monken appears open to him staying. Situation fluid, much to sort out. Well, that wouldn't be good, folks. That would not help. We'd have to revamp the whole staff. I like the Monken hire because it meant keeping Schwartz. Well, I'm second-guessing things a little bit here. I mean, that's a good point by Brian. That means they must love Todd Monken more than Schwartz. That's right, CGC. It really was promote Schwartz or lose him if this is true. Tim Green said it's a slap in the face for Schwartz. I mean, it was. Schwartz is a guy that probably feels slighted by not getting this opportunity. AJ, we talked a little bit about it, but if you want to throw some in there in the chat, go for it. I talked about how Monken was OC at Georgia, and they won back-to-back national championships over there. He's done a lot in both leagues as an offensive mind. Yeah, Zen, it is. Obviously, it's very normal. That is the norm that the head coach brings their own staff. But the Browns were trying to keep Schwartz. That was their main focus here. We're now hearing this from Pelissero. When they informed Jim Schwartz this morning they were passing him over to hire Todd Monken, Schwartz was visibly upset, said goodbyes in the building, and told other coaches he's not coming back. Now, Schwartz is under contract, and Cleveland wants to retain him, but his future is unclear. Where this gets dicey is you can't force him to stay if he wants to leave. Garofolo's saying the same thing now. Told coaches he doesn't plan on staying in Cleveland. Dude, where's he going to go? He's not getting a head coach job anywhere else. He'd rather go be the Niners DC or something. LDG, haven't seen you in a while, dude. Good to see you. That's the point, TD. Schwartz, you would have got a head coach job if you were desired as a head coach. Nobody wanted Schwartz as a head coach. He was only in the running with the Browns. And the Browns just desperately were trying to keep him at DC. Wow. That wouldn't be good, Jim. Because now we got to talk DC candidates later. Oh, Rappaport's got it now, too. This is true, folks. Jim Schwartz has told those close to him that he is out. Well, that changes things. But at the end of the day, if you wanted Jim Schwartz that bad, he would have been the head coach. We might have to replace all three coordinators. The Rams requested to interview Bubba Ventrone for their special teams coordinator job. He just said Ventrone's one of the NFL's best. Excuse me? I'm replying to Pelissero right now. That is hilarious. Stefanski didn't even take Bubba with him. What does that tell you? He took Tommy Rees, which is also laughable. Yeah, you watched all the games with me. Like, Rees and Stefanski combo, not good. Someone said Browns hoping they found the NFL version of Signetti. Here's from Rap, everybody. Jim Schwartz informed the team, was informed that the team was hiring Todd Monken over him, and he's told those close to him that he's out. Cleveland would like to retain Schwartz, who's under contract. The respected DC may now have other plans. He is coveted as a DC, I will tell you that. Oh, man. No, that'd be crazy, Mars. We'd be out. Cleveland stations are stunned. That is the main thing, though, is getting better offensive line. Absolutely. And Todd wants Schwartz to stay. Absolutely, Ty, man. It is Jim Schwartz now. It is his emotion, his decision. Do I run it back with this team after being passed over as a head coach? It's annoying, though, because we built the defense for Jim Schwartz. It's centered around his scheme. Yep, Tom Pelissero, the 49ers would likely have interest in Jim Schwartz if he becomes available. Schwartz was in the Browns facility the past couple days in anticipation of being named head coach, but he'd already told people that if he were passed over, he wasn't staying. We're losing Jim Schwartz. This is bad news. This is bad news. I thought the plan was perfect. We'd get Monken and keep Schwartz. We need a whole new staff. Todd Monken, he really better be that guy. He better be that guy, pal. Todd Monken, you better be him. Because he's got to bring in an OC and a DC, it sounds like. It's great for content, I guess. But, oh, man. That is going to hurt defensive players, too, at CG. They love Schwartz. They did. Oh, yeah. Miles is going to request another trade if we're below 500 at the bye week next year. That's the worst part of it. Come on, Todd Monken. Be the savior. It's all on you. Hit that subscribe button, guys. If you haven't already, I've got you covered with Browns breaking news as it happens. Well, now grade the hire. I like Todd Monken. I don't know if I like any of his DC candidates better than Jim Schwartz. That would hurt. That would hurt. All right, guys, remember, we're going to do a mailbag as well. We're going to do a Q&A, so get your super chats in. If you want to hang out with us, and use the hashtag Browns with some questions and takes here. Yeah, we got plenty. We got plenty. Yeah, wow. Let me see. Don't do the DC question yet in the mailbag, because I got to research the candidates, and I'll do a full video on that. Yeah, I can just do what I did with that already. The super chat. Yeah. Like I said. You're just joining. Apparently, Jim Schwartz very upset. Let's see what Pelissero just said as well. Jim Schwartz wants out. Bubba's not expected to return. That's great news. No Bubba Ventrone, hopefully. Scheelhaase likely going to stay in L.A., barring a good OC offer. Man. Yeah, I could absolutely see how Jim Schwartz would be upset, though, from his perspective. But I think Monken's a better hire. Oh, wow. Schultz says there is no chance Schwartz comes back. Jordan Schultz. Regardless of his contract, they believe he is not staying there after how things transpired this morning. Yeah, get Bubba out of here. I'm with you. Wow, we have a whole new staff, folks, coming up. Whole new staff. Niners fans got great news. Oh, man. Oh, man. Depends on who Monken has ties to as well for these next candidates. At least Bubba's going to be gone. Fix the special teams, please. Yep. Now, I believe the Ravens special teams coordinator, he might have got a job already. But I believe he was someone. Yeah, the Giants brought him already. The Giants already brought the Ravens special team coordinator, Harbaugh. Got him. Oh boy, here's the latest updates, folks. The sense within the Browns building is there's no chance Jim Schwartz comes back. Regardless of his contract, they believe he is not staying after how things transpired this morning. So Schwartz is visibly upset. I get it from his perspective. See, that was my take, VI. Can we just make Schwartz like the highest paid DC? Just give him yeah, I thought that for like Udinski, for if there was a younger candidate, make him an assistant head coach. Man. But to be fair, you can't do an entire head coach search based around your 60-year-old DC. That can't be. If you love a candidate and you didn't like Stefanski, well, you have to trust the new candidate to break their own staff. And if that means Schwartz doesn't want to be a part of it, then Monken's got to bring in another guy. We still have the same players on defense, but Schwartz's scheme had helped them excel. I mean, a lot of these players developed under Jim Schwartz, like Devin Bush, career revival, who is a free agent anyways, but Tyson Campbell improved significantly, leaving Jacksonville to come to the Browns because of our man defensive scheme. Defensive line has always been phenomenal. That is Schwartz's scheme. So I think he's going to be tough to replace at DC, but you have to make this. You have to make this decision. It was an aggressive 4-3 base defense. You know, he blitzed a lot. Like sometimes third down, Schwartz would send the house and it worked. And other times you're like, oh, you just gave a big play because of that. But I mean, he's helped a lot of young defensive players develop. That absolutely is a loss. The Carnes curse. Yeah, that's true, Zen. I mean, kind of just left that all to Schwartz, though. It was his defense. It was built for him. But you have to take the good with the bad. I mean, there's no guarantee that Schwartz was going to come back if you didn't hire him, and they didn't want to hire Schwartz. You can't promote Schwartz just to keep him. It's not going to save your team. That's the fact of the matter. The Giants were very confident that they were getting Todd Monken, too, so this is pretty funny. Browns really do keep their intentions hidden, according to Connor Hughes here. Rappaport also says that Monken's got extensive experience tutoring quarterbacks and designing offenses. And that was as important as anything in the Browns head coach process. I tweet a lot of updates throughout the day, guys. So give me a follow, Joey070. Also Instagram and TikTok, Browns Report IG, and Joey O. Brown. In fact, producer Jack knows. Joey O had it first. What's today's date? January 28th? What's this? January 26th? 2 days ago, I woke up, I said, it might be Todd Monken's season in Cleveland, folks. That's what I'm hearing. That is the case. He's our head coach today. So give me a follow on X/Twitter because I put stuff there that you can get quicker. Give me a follow, interact with me on there. I think we got to get into our mailbag, though. If you want to be a part of the show, send a super chat or use the hashtag Browns with a question or take in the live chat right now. And yeah, Monken also was the first person we interviewed. I see a lot of split reactions on this. I think the Schwartz thing is a blow. So whoever we get at DC is going to be pretty telling. Yeah, it is worth noting the second time the Browns have passed up on Schwartz to be their head coach. In 2020, they went with Stefanski over him. I think he feels pretty slighted, and he's like, yeah, I'm leaving. Which is unfortunate, but it just wasn't going to be the answer. Like, I don't know. Like, should we have run it back with Schwartz? Like, give him a second head coach opportunity in the league? Just to keep him? Who would he have brought as OC? And you still would have needed a new DC. I think Monken's the better hire.
Make sure you guys are using hashtag Browns in your comments. I'm seeing some good questions, but we're not going to be able to put them on the show because we cannot pull them. So hashtag Browns to get your questions on the show. Or the easiest way, super chat. My deal is still on the table. If we get to $100, I'll do a beer bong. We're $81 away. Doesn't have to be one super. It can be a collective. It can be 8 people supering $10. So that's my deal.
Lob it up for each other.
Lob it up for each other. And then hit the slam dunk.
Alley-oop.
Bang. Alley-oop. But yeah, hashtag Browns to get your questions on the show or super chat, and those are going to go right to the front of the line.
Oh, yeah. I hope that's the case. CGC, he says, I think the Browns are going to make Schwartz the highest paid DC. I think they're going to offer, but apparently he's already told coaches and people close to him that he's leaving and is visibly upset with not getting this job. He really thought he had it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I mean, Patrick Graham, the Raiders DC, is a candidate. Raheem Morris, perhaps. Jim Leonard. Yeah, he wasn't good with the Ravens though. But that is the connection Monken has. It's true.
We're also 26 likes away from 100. If you haven't hit that like button already, make sure you hit that like button. This pushes out to even more Browns fans. Let's get as many Browns fans in this stream as possible. Hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let's get into our Q&A. Remember, get those super chats in. Want to party with us? And let's do this. Let's answer your questions about the hire. Browns fans are all over the place on the Todd Monken hire. Opinions split right down the middle. So we're going to answer all of your questions about the Todd Monken hire in Cleveland and the decision that ultimately Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry decided on. Before we dive into more about the Todd Monken breaking news and your questions on this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Look at that. 2 more people hit that subscribe button for free. We're already be at 70,400. Be a part of the Browns Report family, totally free. And like I said, when there's breaking news, I cover you with it, and I get all your opinions on the matter as well. Best analysis for the Cleveland Browns here on YouTube. Let's dive into our first Super Chat question of the day, and that is from Joshua Miller. Who are the top OC options now for the Cleveland Browns? Great question by Joshua Miller, and I am going to make a full video diving into this in the near future. But off rip, Joshua Miller, I can tell you that the candidates that they interviewed for head coach could likely be in this mix as well. You know, I think Scheelhaase is unlikely. It's reported he'll probably go back to the Rams, but I know the Browns would be interested in having Scheelhaase be OC after all of this. Anthony Lynn, who they interviewed as well, used to be the Browns running back coach, currently the Commanders running back coach, also was the head coach of the Chargers way back when, losing record there, but you want to talk offensive candidates, Lynn will be a name that Cleveland, I imagine, gives an interview to. So those are a couple just off the bat, but like I said, I'm going to have plenty more for you here in a future video. Shout out Joshua Miller for that question. Next, Dustin Jordan with the $5. Let's talk about Carson and JOK together. Unstoppable. Also, they need to get Shiloh Sanders, who has made a mistake, learned his lesson, who can help us. Shout out Dustin Jordan. The linebacker pairing, if JOK comes back fully healthy, it's going to be dangerous in Cleveland. Devin Bush is a free agent. And listen, he was phenomenal under Jim Schwartz, who seems unlikely the Browns will get to keep Schwartz now. But if we compare those two together, this defense is only going to elevate to another level, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about Shiloh's ability to play safety at the NFL level right now. You know, he did get ejected in that preseason game with the Buccaneers. I get it, Justin. I love the Sanders family. But I think Shedeur would have to pull some strings for that to be the case. He'd have to solidify himself as the starter. But congratulations, Shedeur is a Pro Bowl quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's going to help his case start next year. Tim Green, $10. Shout out to Tim. I like the pick of Todd Monken. Now, if we can cherry pick a few free agent Ravens like Linderbaum or Zay Flowers, your thoughts? That is a great point to bring up by Tim Green. Tyler Linderbaum is looked at as one of the most, if not the most coveted free agent offensive lineman this year. Multiple teams going to pursue him. It didn't seem like the Browns would have a chance because he's a Raven. But at the center position, Todd Monken's got those ties now. Perhaps he could influence the Browns to, well, get some of their needs by what was working over there in Baltimore. So I do think that is good. I think Monken's experience in the NFL, his ties will open up this pool that more than you may think, right? He worked in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive system. He was the offensive coordinator at Georgia, and they won 2 national championships 2 years in a row. You know, there is more that opens up here with Monken and his ties, and obviously ties to Baltimore. Let's get your opinion real quick here in this comment section. Do you like the Monken hire? Type Y for yes, type N for no in the comment section. You let me know if you like the Monken hire, yes or no. I think out of all the candidates that they had to narrow down to, I don't mind it at all. But you let me know your thoughts here in the comment section. Mr. Swims, who will be our next QB for next season? Good question from Mr. Swims here. There's not many options in free agency, guys. There just really aren't. And Andrew Berry said quarterback is going to be a major focus this offseason for them. At the moment, I would tell you they are leaning in Shedeur Sanders' direction. It will at least be a quarterback battle that includes Shedeur Sanders in the training camp, so long as he is not traded. Gabriel, I would love to tell you, is just not in this mix. There's no buzz on Gabriel. They benched him midseason, and Shedeur showed more flashes than Dylan did. So I think Gabriel's on his way out, lost his job. Watson could be in this mix too if they do not bring in another free agent nor draft quarterback. Deshaun Watson has consistently posted that he is coming back on his Instagram story, and he is under contract next year, making a boatload to sit on the sideline. So I think their plan is they start Shedeur Sanders. If he doesn't look good, they're turning to Deshaun Watson. This is contingent upon them not bringing someone else in, and like I said, the best free agent quarterback is Malik Willis, so there really is no option. Unless they swing in the draft on a lower-tier prospect, like Trinidad Chambliss, perhaps, in the 3rd round, they're going to roll with what they have and hope Monken can bring life into that offense. Excellent gamer. What about Scheelhaase as OC? Here's a good question. Something I mentioned at the top of the show. I would love that to be the case, but I do think it's more likely Scheelhaase just goes back to the Rams. In fact, he might be in prime position to get an OC job with LA if Mike LaFleur takes the head coach job in Arizona. I think the Browns would advocate for this. I think they would ask Monken to, but it's going to be up to Todd Monken, and I think Scheelhaase is more likely goes back to the Rams. But I'll list him as an OC candidate for sure. LDG. They should have made Jim as a head coach. All right, let's talk about this just a little bit here. If the only way to keep Jim Schwartz was to promote him, and I'm getting many notifications right now that Jim Schwartz is believed to not stay in Cleveland. So we'll keep you updated on that. Jordan Schultz told us there's actually no chance. That's the sense in the Browns building of Jim Schwartz coming back. Regardless of his contract, they believe he's not staying there after how things transpired this morning. And I get it, where he's coming from. So that must mean that it really was the only way to keep him was to make him the head coach. And look, they've passed over him as a head coach twice. I don't think he's head coach material, LDG. I think that's what it tells you. And yes, it's a blow, but you can't do your head coach search centered around keeping a 60-year-old DC who we love, who's been phenomenal. But if you are getting the next leader of your team and you don't think that's Jim Schwartz, you have to trust the guy that you do trust to make the right decisions on hirings for this staff. So yes, Monken's open to keeping Schwartz. Yes, the Browns want to do it, and I think they should give him a massive offer. Schwartz is probably going to leave, and I just don't think it would have looked good with Schwartz as head coach, but I appreciate you putting that out there, LDG. Let's talk about today's sponsor, and then we'll answer more of your questions. Prize Picks. The big game is almost here. There's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out right with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. I love this app. It's a lot of fun. And since I can't watch my favorite team anymore for a while, I want a way to stay entertained during these games and have something to root for. Prize Picks helps me do that. It makes all the games more entertaining. And are you missing your fantasy team? My league is already over, but with Prize Picks, I don't have to wait until next year's draft to keep playing fantasy. Prize Picks lets you play fantasy football every week, even in the playoffs. Pick your favorite players and win when they hit their projections every week. No draft required. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 sports picks app. My lineup for the big game features Drake May having more than half a passing touchdown. Hopefully I am correct and can win some money. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, let's get back into some Browns fans' questions here. Let's hope that the defense is still good next season. Still going to be the same players. Absolutely, that is the hope. But Jim Schwartz is a major piece to why this defense is so good. They built the defense for Jim Schwartz. This is his scheme, a 4-3. He applies pressure, physical corners, physical man defense. It's built around him, and he's helped a lot of the players develop. But you're still going to have Myles Garrett, the best player in the entire league. You still have the same guys. We have to trust Monken to bring in a DC that can still maximize these players, or at the very least, those players have learned from Jim Schwartz, and they will. Well, we're going to have to eat that blow if Schwartz really is pissed and doesn't want to be here. But yes, I agree. I do hope that the defense is still good next season. Let's get to another question or take here from one of our lovely viewers. I don't see the football IQ in Shedeur Sanders. He runs around out of the pocket and throws a pick. Do you think we should try to get a late-round quarterback? All right, question here from VI. Let's talk about this. Shedeur's a rookie. He made rookie mistakes last year. I agree. I think there were multiple instances, though, where you saw the football IQ improve, where he made quick decisions. He's learning as he's growing. I understand your concern, but I would reserve judgment until the Browns have a better offensive line and system and coach for Shedeur Sanders. There's not many other options elsewhere, VI. Andrew Barry says they will try to look everywhere to get a new quarterback. If there was a major free agent quarterback or trade rumor, sure. I wouldn't say don't go get a Joe Burrow type of player because of Shedeur Sanders. But it's Kyler Murray and Tua in trade rumors, and Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Marcus Mariota as free agent options. And you're not getting Mendoza. Without Dante Moore, this quarterback class isn't great either. So I think the Browns are somewhat locked into who they have unless they love a different draft quarterback. Next up is Joshua Miller. If the Monken hire leads to losing Schwartz, my grade changes from a B to a big fat F from Joshua Miller. I feel you, Josh. It definitely changes my grade as well. If my first impression was we'd get Monken and Schwartz together, Monken all in on the offense, Schwartz all in as a defensive mind, it hurts me to think we're losing Jim Schwartz now because we hired Todd Monken. But I still think Monken is a better hire than Schwartz. No way this team succeeds next year with Jim Schwartz as the head coach and a new DC and new OC. Who is Schwartz going to bring in to be an OC? Monken is an offensive mind. What is Cleveland's number one issue? Reviving that offense. We were contenders last year if our offense could move the ball at least a middle of the pack way. But no, we're dead last in points per game and second to last in points per game for 2 years in a row. Same players on defense. It's going to take a blow coaching-wise, but we got to trust that Monken can bring in someone else to keep the players producing at that level. So I absolutely think it lowered my grade as well, Josh, but I still think the only way you were keeping Schwartz was making him the head coach, and that wasn't the right decision. Grade the hire for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down below. What are we giving this Todd Monken hire? Comment it in the comment section. Appreciate you guys rocking with me here on today's show. Let me know a grade down below. Let's get this question in from Ryan Clark. Why don't we promote another defensive coach within our organization that already knows Schwartz's system? You could. I know our safeties coach got an interview with the Cowboys to be a defensive coordinator, but that feels like a Jim Schwartz deal. I don't know if that is something Todd Monken is going to be keen on doing. I think they're only letting Monken keep Schwartz. Otherwise, if he can't do that, he's going to bring in his own guy to be a DC. Hopefully not the Ravens defensive coordinator, but that definitely will be in rumors going forward, and it is a guy that Monken has ties to. I'll have a full video on DC candidates as well coming your guys' way, but I appreciate the idea from Ryan Clark. Gonder, is it just me, or does it seem like Jimmy Haslam hasn't learned much since buying the team? Same mistakes over and over. Oh, Jimmy Haslam's terrible. Ownership is an issue. I mean, he bought the team, and we went 0-16, 1-15. I wish Jimmy could sell the team. Consistently, he makes mistakes. And that's why nobody wants to come to Cleveland. That's why our pool gets narrowed down slimmer and slimmer. But I think Monken is a fine option out of the three they had narrowed it down to. Scheelhaase as well, but he literally has no experience calling plays, being a coordinator, or being a head coach. So Monken, an experienced offensive mind, getting his first stint as a head coach, why not try it out? Not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm saying it's worth the shot here while the Browns are figuring out their other issues. It's going to do it for us here on today's Q&A. Give me a follow if you want to be a part of these type of videos or ask me more questions. X/Twitter, Joey070. Browns Report IG on Instagram. Joey O. Brown on TikTok. And as always, hit that subscribe button. Look at that. We already gained subscribers throughout the video. It's because we got the best fan base in the league, Cleveland Browns fans. You guys are awesome. Hit that sub button. Boom. Got another one. You guys are great. Hit that sub button. Make more videos for you all week long to talk about what's next for the Cleveland Browns. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Lucas. Better than Tommy Rees. Absolutely. Unbelievable. Oh. Bubba received a request to be the Steelers coordinator. Bubba Ventrone. Take Bubba, please. Get him out of here. All right. Yeah, I think we just see if anybody else wants to cash in on your beer bong deal, and then we'll just wrap up, Jack, before lunch here. Bubba is an expert with returners muffing punts. That's correct. I hope the Rams take him. The thing is, Schwartz is under contract, though. He would have to ask the Browns to let him leave. Oy, starting to feel like a mess, Jack. They're going to have to sort this out.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get out of here in a minute. I'm going to put a 5-minute shot clock on the stream. 5 minutes. If we get to the $100, I'm going to rip a beer bong. If we don't, then we're going to end the stream. 5 minutes. It's already counting down. If you want to get your super chats in, get them in. If not, no big deal. But, little something, little something.
Also, another question I want to ask you guys. I don't know if you want to make a weigh-in for it real quick. The Pro Bowl with Shedeur Sanders, Tuesday night. Do you guys want me to go live for the Pro Bowl? I was talking to the bosses about this, and my boy Mitch, great guy, good friend of mine, very successful host here, says, ask your chat if they would tune into a live stream for the Pro Bowl to first another Shedeur watch party. Do you guys want me to do that? I don't know. We would go live for the flag football game probably to watch Shedeur in the Pro Bowl. If you guys, yeah, probably not like the dodgeball game, but like the actual game. Should we go live for the Pro Bowl for Shedeur? Yes or no in the chat? I know. Yeah, I know. I guess you're just. I wonder, could you mirror like the ESPN play-by-play or something? Oh, you're right. Figure it out. If the people want it, we'll figure it out. Joshua Miller with the 2. All right, let's see. We got a lot of yeses, Jack. Live Pro Bowl party. Some people saying no. Most yeses. Time Man says do it. Guys, should I go live? Joshua, can Schwartz be traded like a head coach? Perhaps in the offseason, or Joshua Miller, I think Cleveland would get a draft pick if he leaves. I think we would get a comp pick if Schwartz leaves. So maybe it more so works like that. But essentially, yes, we can be compensated with draft picks, hopefully through a trade, or more likely just a comp pick if he does leave. Might not be the worst case scenario to get something in return, because just straight up losing Schwartz would be unfortunate. Here's a fun question. Who's got the best head coach in the AFC North right now? Minter, McCarthy, Monken, or Zach Taylor? 2 more minutes before we cash in on this deal. We need 80 total more in Super Chats. So send in Super Chats if you guys want us to do a beer bong here to party, to celebrate the Monken hire. Yeah. Monken has always been open to keeping Jim Schwartz. It is Jim Schwartz that is upset and doesn't plan to stay here. I get it from his perspective, I guess. Obviously, he feels he's a head coach candidate. We don't. No way. This is from Ari. Jim Schwartz has, in fact, told members of the Browns essentially go screw themselves after being passed over for the head coach job. The Schwartz element was the biggest hurdle Cleveland faced in its long, complicated head coach search. And ultimately, they're not able to keep. Dude, I'm ready for next season. I want to watch this Monken offense, see if it really does explode. I need to see this right now. I can't wait. I can't wait 3 months, Jack. I need answers right now. I need to see this thing in action. I need to see if this is the right hire or not. Right. Like I said, I like the idea. Hey, first-year head coaches are doing great. Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson. Let's give Monken the shot. He's all on offense. And what do we need? What did Barry say we need to do? Primary focus, reviving the offense. Because we're contending, we're competitive if our offense was just in games this year. Did you guys watch the games with me? The offense was unbelievably bad. Oh! Young one! Young one! Young one! Hey, young one's lobbing it up. Could someone else send a 20 to throw it down and make Jack and I drink? We need 30. So a 20, a 10. Can someone lob it down? Make us drink early morning. Young one! Bang! Go live. Have to respect our Pro Bowl QB. Way too early record prediction. If young ones sending a 50 to go live for the Pro Bowl, Jack, I think I'm going to find a way to do it. Put some respect on our Pro Bowl QB, baby. I think it'd be fun to do a Shedeur watch party again here because it's the off season and we don't get to do it much now. Shout out young one for the $50 super chat. Way too early record prediction. Let's do it. Way too early record prediction. You know what? The Browns have one of the easiest schedules in the league next year. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to teams that are bad this year being bad next year. I actually think the Titans have made some phenomenal hires. Bringing in Robert Saleh and Brian Dable to work with Cam Ward, I think that's a good idea. Way too early record prediction. I think we improve from 5 wins. Give me right down smack dab the middle. 8-1. That's your record prediction. We're going to improve. Offense will look better. Can we get someone to replicate what Jim Schwartz has done, though? That's what I'm seeing. Shout out young one. What a legend. What a legend. At the buzzer. Remember, hit that subscribe button. Oh, it was Jeremy Chuggs, the culprit? Duh. Oh. We know who we're playing, just don't know when. Yes, that's right, Joshua Miller. All right. Folks, we have made it to $71 in Super Chat. If we get to 100, young one lobbed it up. If anybody wants to slam it down, Jack and I will. I'm going to do one too, Jack. I'm going to do one too if we get to 100. So if anyone wants to throw it down, make Jack and I do a beer bong here on our live. It's 11:53 a.m. here, 12:53 p.m. I haven't eaten yet, but I'm down for the people. We'll give people a couple minutes if they want to do that. Otherwise, we will hop on out of here and go make another video for you guys. Don't count your chickens. Exactly. Young one saying, I gave the assist. Need someone to score. No school, small edits. That's a W. Young one said, I might finish it myself. See how this Monken video that we put out is doing? One word on Monken, good. Cool. Someone said Super Bowl. Yeah, Browns NY. Schwartz is very upset. And reportedly, he's told people he's leaving. He has told people he's leaving. Jordan Schultz says, no chance. Jim Schwartz comes back is the sense in the building. Joshua Miller, $2 super chat. No, I haven't yet. Yeah, I think we'll do that once the schedule is released. Absolutely, Joshua Miller. But maybe I'll bring up the opponents in a future video at some point. Just for you, Joshua Miller. Just for you. Shout out Joshua Miller. Yeah, guys, this is all about if Schwartz will stay because everybody in the Browns organization wants him to stay. Some people are saying losing Schwartz would make this search a whole failure. Honestly, that is kind of dysfunctional. You conduct the whole search around keeping Jim Schwartz, and now he hates your guts and leaves. That would be pretty bad. The Browns are always in dysfunction. Yeah, here's the other report from Rappaport. Not that bad, but I'll do it for you, for the people. Joshua Miller just gave us 2 more, so I say we put a shot clock then again, Jack. You wanna? Dude, Young One's a legend. All right, folks. We'll give it a couple more minutes, and then we will sign off. Browns are the team that would do that. Yeah. Troy says 10-7. I'll take that. I'm just hoping we revitalize the offense. That was the idea with the Monken hire. Jim Schwartz, there would be no changes to the offense. He was on our staff last year. No, didn't work. I don't think so, Troy. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to cash in on the deal. Otherwise, we'll hop on out of here. Beer bong if we get $28 more combined from everybody. Damn, someone just tweeted, "Don't let the door hit you, Jim." Kind of rude to Jim Schwartz. He was fantastic for us. That is kind of tough, though. Dang, that is pretty dysfunctional. You do a whole head coach search with the idea of keeping Schwartz, and then you just settle for not keeping Schwartz. Only reason I say that is because they probably could have got one of their topper candidates if they didn't push Schwartz onto the candidate. Man, that's tough. It's tough, dude. But hey, let's give Monken a shot. Yeah, I'm with you, Kathy. Jim Schwartz did a lot for the defense. A lot. They built it for him. He was that good. Still got the same players, though. Dude, Twitter's so funny. You guys got to follow me on Twitter, Joey070. There's a lot of funny stuff out here. Some guys just goes, "Congratulations to the Browns on a phenomenal coaching search. Very well done." Todd Brown's helping us out, folks. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Can you get us to drink? Or can we go out here? Let's get some lunch, Jack. Go out here unscathed, perhaps. Only $25 needed now. Todd Brown's. Perfect name for the day. Todd Monken Browns. Ooh, are we going to be able to go live for Todd Monken's intro presser? Probably early next week. That would be fun. Todd Brown with the 2. Oh, Rose with the 5. Welcome in, Rose. We're $20 away. If we can get $20 in 1 minute, 40 seconds, we'll do some beer bongs. Oh! Young One. Uh-oh. We're drinking, Jack. Look at that. Team effort. Everybody coming together. And our star player, Young One. Finish it. Let's go, dude. All right, and more from Schultz here. The Jim Schwartz situation. Schwartz was expected to get the head coach job after Grant Udinski dropped out. When informed this morning it was going to Todd Monken, he said goodbye and angrily told others he was done with the Browns. Several players, including Myles Garrett, have a strong affinity for Schwartz. It will be worth watching how the players react to all this. Oh, we are so cooked. Jim Schwartz under contract with the Browns, so he can't just leave. But as one source put it, if it has to get ugly, Schwartz is someone who is perfectly fine making it ugly. We're such a dysfunctional organization, dude. I need a drink. Rose with the 5. Hey, folks. I got the jersey, Joey. Hope this hire is not the bust I think it'll be. Rose, shout out Rose with the $5 super chat. I'm glad you got the jersey, my friend. Enjoy it. We sent out a jersey. I got to send one to AFX as well. I'm going to put that order in for you today, AFX, if you're still here. Young one. Guys. Finish it. Boom! Jack's going to get the beer bongs right now. Looks like we're both drinking. Lunch and beer on me, boys. W young one. W young one. Let's do it. Let's do it. No, this is a fake report. I do think that the Browns' defensive players' reaction is going to worry me. That does worry me. I know the players love him. I know Denzel Ward loves him. Myles Garrett loves him. Oh, my gosh. There's so much offseason stuff to talk about now, guys. Oh, my God. When the trade... When teams can trade again, we are in for some rumors. Jim Schwartz is reportedly pissed off right now. Miles, please bring back Schwartz. Small edits. Is Chat Sports a business? Yeah, it is a company here that I work for. Oh, yeah, you got it? All right, folks. Young one. Browns fans. Jack and I are drinking. Cheers to you, my friend. Let's do this. Boom! Oh, woo! Young one. Now we're partying on the Browns Report. Shout out to you legends. Chug, chug. That's right, baby. You guys are the best. Hell yeah, boys. Making Jack and I drink. Love it. Gotta love it. Folks, this has been a very fun time. Make sure you hit that sub button because we've got plenty of next steps now for the Cleveland Browns to talk about here. I'm going to post videos about it every single day. Sweetie T at the buzzer with a $5 super chat. Let's go, Sweetie T. Good to see you. Sweetie T says, just have to wait and see how this goes. I am more worried about the OC coach than the head coach, the real play caller. If it's Jim's time, then it's Jim's time. I like that take from Sweetie T. I could see Monken being the play calling head coach though. He called plays in Baltimore. Like I think Monken will call the plays if I had to guess it. But OC is going to be very crucial. Who he brings on, absolutely. If it's Jim's time, it's Jim's time. Fair enough. If it was either head coach or lose Jim Schwartz, you bite that bullet. Because what's our main priority? Fixing the offense. Guys, seriously, I have to stress this. The offense was lifeless the past 2 years, even though we had a top 5 defense. In 2026, you need some offense to compete in this league. And Monken has been a part of some phenomenal offenses, both with the Ravens and at Georgia. So you got to trust him to bring on a strong DC here to work with these players. We're going to have a whole new staff. Oh, man. Super exciting covering the Browns, Mr. Jack. Super exciting. Shout out, Sweetie T. Folks, like I said, hit that sub button. I think we're just about ready to wrap up here. So appreciate you all tuning in to the show. And I've got you covered with everything the Browns do next. Hit that sub button. Appreciate you all. And it's going to get crazy time, man. I'll tell you more about it pretty soon. So see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Go Browns.